This is my presentation on legal and ethical issues for Research Methods Assignment 4. I'll start off by talking about the informed consent form. An informed consent form is where participants agree to take part in a study. It is an legal requirement for investigations and helps the researcher to be protected by informing them in what the test will behold, and anything not included in the form they should not do or do not have to do. If not, they can forward it on to a tribunal, which has a disciplinary route. It also protects the researcher by proving that they told the participant and what they will be doing during the study, so the participant couldn't get the researcher in any unnecessary trouble. So all in all, it ensures the safety of the participant and the researcher, for them both to be safe. Here's an example of an informed consent form. As you can see, an informed consent form consists of the participant's name, date of birth, gender, and age. It also shows the investigation they will be taking part in and a description of the test. So in this example, it's about health screening tests and the tests they'll be doing. It also shows details of each protocol for each test, as you can see here for this. The BMI test shows you what you'll be doing and the protocol for it. It also, at the bottom, there's a signature box for both the researcher and the participant to prove that they gave the permission to carry out the test and participate in the test. It also has the date that they'll be signing on. And that's around about it. An example of when an informed consent form is needed and used is when doing health screening tests. As you saw in my informed consent form, it shows all the tests they'll be doing and it shows they give permission to take part in the tests. So, for example, they could be participating in the BMI test. It just shows they gave permission to participate, and it gives info and knowledge to the participant from the researcher by giving the protocols and all details on the test. It also states in the informed consent form that you can opt out of the tests at any time, and the researcher would ensure the participant knew that they can opt out at any time. The next thing I'll be talking about is confidentiality. Confidentiality is where any information relevant to the study or test is released and shared with others, meaning others will only know information that will not show the identity of the participant, such as their age or their gender, so their name or their date of birth will not be released, or the information would not be confidential. For example, names are not relevant during a test because others do not need to know the name for the test to carry on running smoothly. However, the gender and age of the participant may be needed to show averages for male and female, or age groups. Coding can also be used to ensure confidentiality by calling a participant A or participant B instead of using their names, which ensures confidentiality by making the information more private and ensuring the identity of the participants is not released to others, which is good because then the participant's identity could not be stolen. Confidentiality is required because it's a legal and ethical requirement set by BASES. BASES is the British Association of Sport and Exercise Science, and it's required because they have set a law so that confidentiality has to be used to protect the participants in testing. However, it also protects the researcher as well. You can ensure confidentiality by locking away all information in a cabinet using a lock so that none of the information is released to others, so the participant is more protected. However, if the information is stored electronically, you could password protect the information so that only people related to the study or test knows the password, or only the researcher knows the password. This would help ensure confidentiality because not everybody will be able to access this information, and then the participant will feel more happy because they will feel more protected with their information being locked away, and only people related to the study would know the personal details of the participant. You can also use coding to ensure confidentiality by calling the participant A or B, and only releasing relevant information associated to the specific test. For example, the BMI test, only releasing the weight and height of the person and not releasing their name. Or in a test of average heights, you'd only have to release the information showing the age and gender of the participant, and not releasing the date of birth or name of the person taking part. To ensure confidentiality, all collected data is protected by the Data Protection Act, which was made in 1998. It's a law or act that covers confidentiality, and confidentiality is required when sharing a participant's personal details, but you should only share the info that is related to the study, which is what the law states, or the act states in fact. The act also states that only relevant people or persons are able to access the personal details of the participant. If there was no confidentiality and a researcher gave out all the personal details of the person taking part in the studies, the other people would be able to access the information, so we'll know the personal details of the participant. So they'd be able to steal the identity of them, which is bad for the participant, and they would not like it. And they could also, when accessing the information of the participant, they could then use the participant's name by stealing their identity when taking part in other tests, which means the participant will no longer be protected, which is bad for them and they won't like it. But it's also bad for the researcher because the participants will not want to participate in their tests again because they feel their personal details will be given out again. So they won't take part or participate in the tests again, meaning the researcher might not be able to get anyone else to take part in their studies, so they will not be able to gather any results or do any more research, which would be bad for them, so they would no longer be able to do the tests. The final thing I'll be talking about is BASES, and just touching up a little bit of information on BASES. So BASES is the British Association of Sport and Exercise Science, and they are like the police of sport and exercise science research, and they govern all the research and make sure everything's running smoothly and everything's protected and safe. So they ensure that all the research is legal and ethical for the researchers and the participants. So how they kind of help them all research become ethical and legal is by producing a code of conduct that the British Association of Sport and Exercise Science made themselves. So they help all research be legal and ethical by making sure the research has to follow the code of conduct in order for it to be legal and ethical. Thank you for listening.